Hello, welcome to Intimate Lens. I'm Dr. Katz. Today we will discuss sexual blames and excuses. We will break it into two parts. This is part one. Let's check it out. Sexual intimacy has to be a respectful, mutual, consensual activity. Big words, but the sense is we have to want to do it with each other. Being sexually intimate calls for feeling good about ourselves, yet being sensitive to the needs of the other, of being able to speak what we like to have done, to allow body limitations not to stop us, to have our self-esteem be there regardless of how we look and how heavy we are, or how old we are, or if we're disabled, or have had surgery that altered us, etc., etc. But in reality, there are often pressure within the sexual arena. And in this two-part video series, I would like to present you with common blames and excuses that sadly are being brought up in a relationship quite often. In no particular order, number one, and I'm reading a quote, "You are not or were never a good sexual partner." Speaking of a low blow, speaking of a knife to one's heart to hear that. Of course, hearing such a jabbing comment gets to your core, whether it's the female who receives it or the male who receives it from the female. It could be the truth that the partner is not as sexually savvy, sexually experienced, knowing how to do it nice. But that is a matter of exposure to experiences of learning, of communication within the relationship. Any of those excuses will have to do with these factors. And to just jab it like that, in a dismissive way, "You're not good, you were never good," it's almost irrecoverable. Another comment, and again I'm reading, "You never made me feel loved," or you never made me feel sexually desired." Whoa, that's another big one. How do we define love? How do we define being desired? Do we tie it exclusively to sexual performance, which is the most intimate connection between two parties, and which involves many layers of one's psyche? That's a tough one. That takes heavy communication and perhaps some talk therapy to sort this out, to sort out rights from wrongs here. Another one, suddenly out of the blue, "I am no longer attracted to you." Well, hello, nice to hear that. Where did it come from? Why have we not spoken about that for a while? Why have we not explored this? Suddenly to drop such news here in my ear, hearing this thing, when it was an outcome of an evolutionary process within the disgruntled partner? This is terrible. This is really hurtful. We wish that with these excuses and others that we will discuss yet, the party who speaks them up would have thought a little more how they would have felt if they heard that. Maybe they would have modified the language. Number 4, you love the kids more than me. As in, you pay attention more to them, you spend time more with them, you don't want to be with me because you would rather be with them. Also with that often goes, do the kids really belong in our bed? This opens, this calls for heavy discussion about deep feelings, about the role of being a parent versus the role of being a partner, whether they blend or whether they're each kept in their own proper domains, and definitely the role of privacy about children in bed. Are the kids in bed because of guilt or fear of leaving them alone or a need to control every whim? Is it a cultural fact? And in some cultures, it's very common for the kids to be in the parents' bed for a long time. It's unfortunate because kids hear and see things they should not. But that's a cultural matter to discuss. Reason number 5, again I'm reading, you owe me. If you do not please me, I am out. Owe you? Owe what? Owe to the institution of the relationship? Owe to the marriage? A woman owes a man? Owe who? Are we owned sexually? Are we at sexual servitude? Deep questions to ask. But unfortunately, in some cultures and religions, yes, this plays a role, to the point of the leaders or the clergy saying those things, typically to the woman. You owe him. You have to. It is your obligation as a woman, regardless of how you feel. It's a terrible situation for a female. She feels that she's an object. She's not a person. She has no rights. But how to resolve that is beyond the scope of this video. We just wanted to enlighten you and put this on the table. If you identify with this reason, understand why your libido goes out the window. And hopefully you can take measures to fix that. So this is the first half. Be on the lookout for the second half. In the meantime, like, share, subscribe. Let us know if you have any questions.